Um, you got a cute way of talking. You got the better of me. How you doing, baby? Oh, I'm doing great. How are you? Not too bad. Should we start the show? Yeah, sure. All right. Let's start with a little music. Hey, everybody! How you doing? BOOZHOO! And welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha. Over here, the star of the show. Get out of here, will you? NANABOOZHOO, GOFUNDME, Weenie Mouche. Say hello, my sweetheart. Okay, BOOZHOO, everybody, welcome back to the show. And over here, the rock star cartoonist himself, Mr. Michael Lyons. BOOZHOO, Michael. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the BOOZHOO crew. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for showing up. Welcome to the show. Yeah. All right. And today's Ojibwe word of the day, baby. You think that maybe I can tell you what we say when we mean to say Monday. In Ojibwe, we might say Ishwa Anima A Geisha Good. Yeah. Day after prayer day. Ishwa Anima A Geisha Good. It is the day after prayer day, huh, sweetie? That's right. Day after prayer day, or Monday. Ishwa Anima A Geisha Good. Day after prayer day. And that's the word. I mean, we call it the Ojibwe word of the day, but it's really the Ojibwe word of this particular day that we're going live. So, without further ado, please welcome the one and only NANABOOZHOO. Take it away, Weenie Mouche. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the show. You know what I did this morning? What's that? I sent our radio spot to Katie Carter. Didn't we do it last Friday? No. We recorded it, and I even wrote up the invoice and everything. And then, just went on with my day. Didn't bother to email it to anybody. Radio station. Here's the story is on Fridays, Natasha and I record a radio spot for KAXE, KBXE. And right now, as we speak, it's probably playing on the radio. But we do an Ojibwe word of the day and all this stuff. And we pre-record it. And so last Friday, we usually try to record on Friday mornings before the live stream. Just early in the morning, because I don't know how often you guys can hear like the cars drive by outside, but I like to, record really early in the morning. So Friday comes along and we record and then, and it's kind of an involved radio spot. There's like 4 or 5 tracks on it. I mean, it's only 5 minutes long, but there's music. And I think this week Michael Jackson called in, and, we had to have some sound effects on that. But it took a while, and we worked on it for probably an hour and a half. Send it in. And then we have to send a bill to another person. So you got to print up a whole invoice and say, oh, here, give us some money. And I did all the work, but then I didn't bother to send in the radio spot or bother to send the bill. Just, So Katie had to email me this morning. She goes, you guys got a spot for us this morning? It's like, yeah, we just wanted to hear you ask. Anyways, So I emailed it to her. Oh, good. Yeah. So who's here? Hey, Lori Tyndall. Bonjour, Lori. Sweetie, can we get a gold star for Lori Tyndall? Lori Tyndall, first in class. Bonjour, Lori. What's going on, sister? And Kaya Thunder. Bonjour. How's it going? Kaya Thunder's here. And a silver star for Kaya Thunder. All right. And hello, Jim. That Jim Dunn is back. Oh. Hello, Jim. I see you're third in line. Yeah. Can you draw a little sad face by his name? Yep. Hello, Jim. I'm glad you made it back. Let's not get into it today, all right? I don't want to fight about it anymore. Is he going to fight about it? I hope not. Jim says, yeah, just send me the $5. I'll be happy. He still wants that $5. You're not getting the $5 back, all right? When I said, hey, can I borrow $5? I meant that in the Indian way. Meaning, please, just give me $5 or you're never gonna. Oh, hey, loan me $5, will you? Meaning, give me $5, please. That wasn't really a loan. That's the white man's way. Why do you got to be colonized? Oh, pay me back my money. Oh, okay, Mr. Colonized Mind. Why don't you just join the Rothschilds in your banks? Oh, hey, where's that money? I gave you $5. Why don't you give it? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a Shanab. I thought you were a brother, man. But hey, if that's all it means to you, your money, if that's more important than your pride, okay, yeah. Where's my sweetie? You got $5? I'm not giving you $5. You never pay it back. Not you too. Yeah, give him the money, you creep. Sorry. When I can raise the money, I'll bring it back to you. All right. It's also not our way to just, let these things come in between two friends. I don't know. Kaya Thunder says, I had to log out and back in. My headphones glitched out. Uh-oh. Sometimes the live stream gets weird where if it looks like the audio isn't lined up with my mouth, that's not just bad puppetry. You might have to refresh. But then it usually fixes itself. But hey, it's free. I mean, what am I talking about? I got the free downloadable software and got my free YouTube account. So I'm just going to quit complaining. I can't change the world. So I just got to learn to accept it. God grant me the serenity. Sweetie? That's right. Sweetie? You said it, man. You tell him. Preach it. I will preach it, sister. What's going on here? I am well. I feel much better after yesterday's ghost supper. Oh, good. Lori had her ghost supper. The other day, I think it was on, what was it, Saturday? We talked about ghost suppers and I don't know, how do you put it? I'm not going to say mourning the dead. Honoring a person who has started their journey like a year later or however long, I'm glad you I wish you well on your path, on your road to recovery. No. That's what grief is. It's something you got to recover from. It's like a wound. It's like a gunshot wound. You don't go up to somebody who's like walking with a cane and you go, what? You're still walking with that cane? You got shot a year ago. Just start running. It's the same thing with grief. They say there's no time limit. So if you're still limping a year later, cut yourself some slack. Grief, you have to, it heals. For sure it heals. But you never go back This is the weird thing about grief, if I can take just a minute. Not to start the week out on a sad note. Yeah, I gotta jump right into a Monday in grief. Yeah. But I heard it said once, there's no time limit for grief. It just it works its way through at its own pace. For every situation's different. And it doesn't necessarily correlate with like how much, it kind of does correlate with how much you loved the person. But like, I grieved the death of my cat way harder than I grieved the death of my grandmother. And, sure, I was really close to Princess, but she was my grandma. I knew her way longer. And, hey, Jim, another $5. Thank you, Niji. Jim just gave us $5. Hey, thanks, Jim. Yeah, I'm not going to pay this back either. But grief. But, I knew my grandma way longer, and we had a history. We went way back. And when she finally died, I had grief. But it wasn't the heartbreak that I had when my cat died, I'm not saying I loved my cat more than my own grandmother, but the grief was different, So sometimes you have these feasts or these memorials, these ceremonies, dealing with your grief. I guess that's part of it. And the weird thing people forget about sometimes when they go, I need to heal from my grief. It's been a year. I'm going to put away the stuff or whatever. I'm going to move on. And the thing is, well, you know what? The problem is, yeah, you heal from grief. You do. You will laugh again. And you'll smile and everything will be fine, for sure. But it never goes back to the way it was. Healing from grief is just getting used to the new, what they call the new normal. She's gone. And she's never coming back. And there it is. Do you dare look at it? Or he's gone and he's never coming back. Or it's gone, whatever. Grief is a loss and a wound that you'll carry around. When you lose something, you never get it back. If it's truly lost. But grief, and I'm not going to talk about it much longer today, because I think it's coming up. I think September 4th was the date. Probably on the 4th, we're going to do a proper grief talk. But, so you get over, somebody dies, and, it's devastating. We all know. Everybody's an expert in their own grief. And once you go through it, it changes you completely. You will never go back to being the naive person you were before this transformative thing. Sometimes people say stuff, part of me died that day too. It's like, yeah, actually it did. But just like a wound, a scar that leaves a scar, old men like to talk about heartbreak because that's a wound and a grief you can talk about and be proud of. Say, I got divorced once or whatever. My wife left me, for a younger man or whatever it was. Usually it's, my husband left me for a younger woman, but when you have a grief scar, it heals, but then it gets like thick skin there, and it gets kind of tough. And so when you change from grief, you become a little tougher. A lot of people, something happens, their husband leaves them, or their wife cheats on them. You lose your job. Or your grandma dies, or your dog dies. Something happens, and the bottom falls out. And even though, you're just rocking it in life otherwise, it's not depression. It's grief. You find yourself falling into the abyss. The abyss is a deep, dark hole. And, it's terrifying. Nobody wants to look down there. Because that's where your grief is. That's where you go when you're grief. But when you climb out of the abyss, most of us can't just go, okay, well, it's the cycle of life, I guess. People live and people die. Come on, let's go. Oh, the funeral service is over. I guess my grief is over. It doesn't usually work that way. What usually happens is you got to clown around for months and years until you emerge on the other side. But that's a good place to be. When you get to the other side of grief, it's oftentimes kind of like a video game where you get to the next level. The world has changed. But now, this is kind of a talk. I'm going to talk about this more next week. But now, you have new powers. Going through grief gives you wings and armor. You become powerful and wise. And because you've experienced such a low, despair, your capacity for joy just shot way up. Your ability to really appreciate stuff, you will laugh harder now that you've cried so hard. Now, one thing to think about, like if a little kindergartner, nothing that bad has happened. They'll cry and carry on over the dumb little thing. It's like, hey, no, I'm sorry, we don't have chocolate milk today. I want my chocolate milk. Like, no, I'm sorry, it's nap time. You don't get chocolate milk. Here, drink some 2%. Kid'll cry because but then he gets over it. And he can get really happy. Yeah, in that dumb little kid way. It's like, oh boy, Sesame Street's on. I'm so happy. Yeah, that's great. But it's only until you grow up and you experience real pain and sadness that you get that little that gift of, oh no, and you know what else? Now your capacity for joy is way greater. You're going to be happier than you ever thought. In moments. Nothing lasts forever, though. But anyway, getting deep first thing, huh? Yeah, kind of. So what's up? I don't know. How's that coffee treating you? Oh, it's pretty good. It's getting cold, actually. I should drink it. Oh, it's really good. Yeah. Black medicine water. So, sweetie, can I ask you something kind of personal? Oh, sure, you can ask me anything. I'm an open book. Undi, Wenjabayan, where are you from? Bemidji-Gamag Nindonjaba. You're from Bemidji? That's right, Bemidji-Gamag Nindonjaba. Bemidji is where I'm from. The lake of the crossing waters. Yeah? See how we did that? That's pretty good. Andi, Wenjabayan, where are you from? And, if it's not too personal of a question for me to ask the BOOZHOO, Andi, where are you guys from? Tell me in the comments. I know some of you guys are from like Scotland, Canada, New Jersey, Bena, Grand Forks. Where are some other people? Cass Lake. Anybody here from Bemidji-Gamag? Here, this is the story of how Bemidji-Gamag, a lake with the crossing waters, got its name. A lot of people think, okay. Well, anyway, so today's Ojibwe phrase is Andi, Wenjabayan. Where are you from? And it's interesting how you would answer that. For a lot of people, they would answer like, where was I a kid? Where did I grow up? Where did my parents raise me? Oh, well, I'm from Laporte. But a lot of people answer that question like where they're currently living. Hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Bemidji. That's where my house is. Hey, Kiara Waltz. Lucadia. Are you from Leucadia? Where's Leucadia? Sweetie, where's Leucadia? That's over by Transylvania. Oh, you think Kiara's a vampire? She might be. And Lori says she's from Michigan, near Lake Michigan. Oh, wow. She's from the Kichigami Lake, Michigan. She's from the Great Lake called Lake Michigan. And Kaya's from Ontario. Oh, wow. Schnab's all over the planet here. But where I'm from, I'm in north central Minnesota. And we're famous. Let me go see if I can find a picture. Give me just a second here. Can you give me just a doggone minute, you BOOZHOO crew? I'm trying to find a picture so you know where I'm from. Don't yell at the BOOZHOO crew! Well, they get on my nerves. Or I was trying to, hey, hurry up with that picture. I know you want to illustrate your dumb little live stream, but, you know, we require photographs. And so I'm looking for a picture of Paul Bunyan and Babe. Or Kalijah. I'll take either one. Sweetie, we got too many pictures now. Yep, and we don't prepare. I know. See, this is what happened last time. I dig around. I think I'm going to know. And, you know what? Forget it. It's my own fault. Sorry. I was going to show a picture of Paul Bunyan and Babe. Because nobody can picture that in their mind. But I'm from a town called Bemidji. And there's an old folk story. And there's one big statue everyone's familiar with called Paul Bunyan. But then across the street, there's another statue of a big old Indian guy. Kind of doing a Heil Hitler towards Paul Bunyan. He's waving or something. He's sort of behind. The tree grew up in front of him. Nobody ever bothered to, you know, cut down that tree. So now it's an Indian with his face looking into a tree. But some people go, oh, no, that's Chief Bemidji. And I've even heard it said that people think that's me. They go, no, that's NANABOOZHOO. Don't you know the story of when NANABOOZHOO killed Paul Bunyan with a walleye? Is that true? Yeah, that's a story that somebody made up. It's not an Ojibwe story. Oh yeah, NANABOOZHOO killed Paul Bunyan. It's like, I don't think Paul Bunyan was in the old Adazuke, in the old traditional stories, you know, the Bajimoans. But there's this big statue across the street of an Indian, no shirt on, feather in his hair. And people say, oh, that's Chief Bemidji. Well, the story goes, very briefly, that in Bemidji, you know, this is all Indian country. And you know what? This is also screwed up history. Because Bemidji Gamug is the name of the lake. That's what Ojibwe is called, the lake. And it means a lake with crossing waters. And what we think it means is kind of like, you know how a river goes into a lake and it'll cross the surface, and then the tide might go the other way and looks like it creates kind of a grid pattern. It's crossing waters, you know. So it probably has something to do with that. Bemidji Gamug. So as the story goes, when the first white people came here, they came across a man named the Man Who Rattles, was his Indian name. The Man Who Rattles. Shena Wishkung. The Man Who Rattles. And the white guy came up to the Indian guy and he says, hey, what's your name? Anin. But he didn't speak Ojibwe. He only spoke English. He should have said, Oh no, this is where you are from. He should have said, Anin, Aji, Anin Nindija Nakaz. What is your name? Or Gindija Nakaz. And, but he didn't, you know, they didn't speak the same language. So he asked, you know, what is your name? But the Indian guy thought he said, what is this place called? Or where you're from. And so the Indian answered, Bemidjigamug. But the white guy thought he was saying, my name is Bemidjigamug. Or he somehow interpreted it as, oh, this guy must be Chief Bemidji. Because every Indian's a chief to, you know, the original white guys. So the guy was like, oh, what's this now? Your name is Bemidji? Hey, you guys, I just met Chief Bemidji. Yeah, can you believe it? Chief Bemidji. Huh, a real life chief. Wow, that's cool. Hey, do you mind if we start a town here? No, we're going to be cool. Hey, tell you what, we'll name it after you, Chief Bemidji. But the guy's name was never Chief Bemidji. His name was the Man Who Rattles. And when you dig further into the history, the story is that the Man Who Rattles, Shena Wishkung, he was the first customer of the lumber plant. So white people move up to Bemidjigamug, the lake of crossing waters, and they start a town named after, so the story goes, named after an Indian named Chief Bemidji. And so Chief Bemidji, real name Man Who Rattles, comes into town one day, and by this time the white people had built a lumber yard. They were selling lumber so people could build homes, you know, planks of wood and stuff. And Shena Wishkung comes in and goes, hey, you guys, I'm going to put a wood floor in my wigwam. How much for enough wood for the wood floor? And they gave him a price and all that. He goes, oh, this is going to be great. Moving up with the times, you know. The white people are moving in the neighborhood. Now I'm going to get a wood floor for the old lady and the kids in my wigwam here on the beautiful lake, Bemidjigamug. Bemidjigamug, Nindonjaba. You know, that's where I'm from. Well, soon after that, some officials from the wherever, some authority figures, some Freemasons, came up to him and said, hey, you can't live here anymore. We're going to build another lumber mill. We're going to build it right here where your wigwam is. And Man Who Rattles says, what are you kidding me? This is my home. This whole town's named after me, and a dumb story of misunderstanding. And they're like, no, get out of here. No Indians allowed. And they kicked him off back to the res. But this would have been years before there was a reservation. But anyway, so apparently his family members say that he's buried in Cass Lake, down in the Mission Cemetery or somewhere. But a couple of things are weird about this story. Number one, I think there were Dakota people up here when the first white people got here. Really? I could be wrong. Maybe we kicked the Dakota out before white people got here. That must have been. But anyway, so, you know, Bemidji is an Ojibwe word, but this used to be Dakota territory. And then we pushed them down south and west to the Wild West. We relocated to Dakota. But anyway, so that's the name of my town. It's a dumb story, but there's a big old statue of an Indian. And there's a statue of Shena Wishkung, and a little story now that a couple of years ago they put up. They said, oh, okay. Apparently his name was never Chief Bemidji. Even though we have a headstone in a cemetery in Bemidji with the name Chief Bemidji, like his first name was Chief. Yeah, no kidding. That makes no sense. So it's just another one of those weird I don't know if your town's like that at all, but when you look into the history of your town and you realize that what's actually written makes no sense. You go, what? So it's just hard to believe. It sounds as believable as Paul Bunyan. Um, yeah. And all this, the history, everything I look into about North American history and the reset. Apparently, there was a lot of shenanigans going on in the mid 1800s. The Gilded Age, they called it. Right in that sweet spot of history that everybody thinks they know. That wasn't really that long ago. But, right before Little House on the Prairie, that period of time when the white people came, when they said that there were no buildings anywhere. And Anishinaabe man roamed free on the plains hunting buffalo. And then in the course of 100 years, they built every temple, cathedral, cities from New York to San Francisco. And they called it the Gilded Age. Somehow they quarried millions of tons of different, just the bricks alone, all these brick buildings, every city. In history, it happened so fast. And these settlers, this, lice-infected canoe paddling fur traders, somehow went from, paddling canoes and eating squirrels to building St. Paul and San Francisco. And, and so a lot of these guys are looking into these old pictures and they go, what was this World's Fair? And I don't have any of the photos here, because how could they have possibly done that? It's weird. It's hard to believe, but it's also hard to believe that natives would have just been making birch bark wigwams while a mile away there was a building that looked like your county courthouse. So I don't know. Hoka hey hey Jessica wa booze BOOZHOO Mino giga jabe sister. Jessica's here, sweetie. Hey Jessica, what's going on? It's nice to see you. Kiara says, haha, not a vampire. It's San Diego County. Oh, she's from San Diego. Yeah, like San Diego, California. The story of that city and some of the pictures. Oh, there's gold in them dar hills. They said there was nothing but Indians and buffalo. And then there was the Wild West expansion. And the Lone Ranger and Tonto were in Texas. And then somehow, they never say we enslaved the Chinese. We somehow convinced the Chinese people to come over and help us build railroads, or to build the railroads. What, for free? Why would they do that? But anyway, we give all the Chinese, but the story of like how quickly California, and there's some really old Romanesque, what looks like cathedrals and stuff from Rome throughout California, San Francisco. Like, how did those guys? I don't know. I don't know. Well, because what I know, this is what I suspect. This is the conspiracy theory. Is that our history, what they actually tell us? Oh yeah, is probably all fiction. Stories of Davy Crockett, Geronimo. And the truth would probably blow your mind. but that the Freemasons or whoever, the writers of the textbooks, the controllers of our minds, our educators, the same people who've brainwashed us to believe in the Big Bang and Darwin and gravity and Einstein and all this stuff. They also brainwashed us to believe in a kind of a history that's like a movie. Okay, once upon a time, there's a Big Bang, blah, 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 blah. Chapter 30. Now we come to, we're evolving, we came out of the trees, and then, okay, here we are. What happened? Well, Columbus discovered America. This is sort of Garden of Eden, 2.0. And then within, 1492 to now, 500 years, went from Garden of Eden to where we are now. But where we are now also didn't really start until about 100 years ago. Oh, they call it the Industrial Revolution. It makes perfect sense if you understood history. Yeah, you know what? The more I understand history, the less I believe it. It's just like science. Yeah. It's like when I became a flat earther, everybody was like, man, it's a sad state. These people don't understand science, that they could so easily be duped into thinking the earth was flat. You don't even understand science. It's like, no, wait a minute. Do you? Do you really understand the story they've told? And the model they've built? And what even science, so-called astrophysicists have said about their own discipline? It's because I learned so much about quantum and astrophysics and the history of the space race and stuff like that, that I came full circle and went, this is all nonsense. This is all crap. They made the stuff up. Well, now it's history's turn. Okay, what are they actually telling us? Oh, yeah, there was a horse and buggy, and there was no electricity. Once upon a time, 50 Mormons took a horse and buggy and one oxen. Oh, and these are also women and children that comprised of 50 people. All ventured out to the Utah mountains, a place where that's, snow and stuff. And they set up camp. 20 years later, there's the Mormon Tabernacle and like 4 other cathedrals, a full city of buildings and homes and streets. And they did all this without electricity and cranes. Somehow the white people, when they expanded west, on their little, the story they tell us, the wagon train. An old train of wagons. And the families will be in a little covered wagon train. Going through the prairie, looking out for Indians. Oh, circle up the wagon trains. We might have to fight off these savage Indians. But otherwise, we're going to go out here and we're going to have a farm and a log home and eventually build, a city of 1 million people. And we'll do it really well and beautifully with brick and cathedral ceilings and domes and statues and columns. We'll do it gorgeously. But then by the time the 1900s roll around, or any time that anybody alive can remember, the best thing we can build are going to be crappy buildings that only last about 50 to 100 years. I mean, about 25 years before they start falling in. Everything we do will be not as good as we used to do when we were pioneers. So, it's hard to believe. And so if you find like even a one hole in the story, you go, wait a second, what? Are you telling me that part of history they're teaching the kids is 100% fabricated lie? So is it possible maybe all of it is? No, the rest is you can count on. For sure, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. And not just like a, you know, like you look at some of those pictures of Lincoln and you go, is that guy wearing a fake beard? Why would the president wear a mask? Sometimes Lincoln looks like he's wearing a rubber mask. And you go, that's weird. Why does everything look so suspicious now? The more I learn. Oh. Kaya says, Bemidji is a lovely place. Miss it a lot. May move back there someday. Kaya, you should come back to Bemidji. Bemidji is an underrated place. And that's because we don't like to brag about ourselves. But the people in Bemidji are actually pretty cool. They live and let live, for the most part. And there's a healthy mix of opinions. You know, it's not like everyone's just kind of in the middle of the road, conservative, but, you know, not racist, you know, moderates. We have extreme lefties and extreme righties and moderates. And, I don't know, Indians and white people and black people. Yeah, it's a nice place. And I like the weather, except for the summer. Jessica says, Chinese people often came through indentured servitude. Yeah. How come they never teach the kids about the indentured servitude of the Chinese? You know, what kind of corporate slavery was that? Or is that even a true story? What, do they all go back to China afterwards? Is that why there's such a large Asian population in San Francisco? I don't know. Jessica said, they had cranes. They just weren't mobile like the ones we have now. Yeah, that's right. I think the mobile crane was invented in the like early 1900s, like 1930. So like a crane that you could put wheels on and tow to another town to help you like put that statue on top. Like in our town, we have a courthouse with a dome over it. And one of those, like every courthouse, we have the 4-sided clock that doesn't work anymore. And they board it up, but there's these 4 circular things up in the dome area of the courthouse. And then there's a copper dome, and then on top of the dome is a Roman statue of a woman holding a sword and one of those balance things. Oh, it's Lady Justice or something. And you go, okay, why did they build that building like that? It's like, well, you know, during World War I, they used it as a lookout tower in Bemidji. Did they really think that the enemy was going to get this far inland? Like, that makes no sense. And why do we have a statue of a Roman woman in a toga? Oh, that represents, you know, law. I said, so Charles Ingalls, in addition to building a mud hut and farming all summer and then surviving the winter somehow, he and his buddies took the time to somehow construct a statue to the, you know, Athena, the god of justice or whoever, without a portable crane, get it on top of that domed roof. You know, I don't know, what was it, 100 feet in the air? In our little town, we don't even need a courthouse. But we have this beautiful Romanesque courthouse overlooking Lake Bemidji-Gamug. Is it making you crabby? A little bit. The more I think about it, the more like, oh, I guess I have a chip on my shoulder over education. When I think of all that crap they taught me in high school, it's a wonder I can think at all. Hey, is that a Paul Simon song? Yeah, I think so. When I think of all the crap I learned in high school. Lori says, Bemidji is now on my bucket list. Sounds beautiful. I mean, I think it's beautiful because I'm from here. But our winters can be pretty gray, I suppose. It's like every town in northern Minnesota has got a certain charm and beauty to it. Northern Minnesota has a lot of towns, like we're kind of a big town. Because, what's our population? 20,000? 15,000? When I was a kid, it was 11,000. So I don't know what it is now. But like, you'll have big town, I mean, small town by city standards. And then you'll have to drive and you'll go through wilderness for about 10, 15 minutes to your next little town. But like the next major town from here, you're going to have to drive. I mean, you'll hit some speed trap towns between here and Grand Rapids. But like in the winter, it can be really dangerous to travel between towns. So it's a lot of rural trees, farmland, but mostly, forest, lakes, resorts in really small towns, and then moderate-sized towns, big enough to have a Walmart and a mall, an airport. But then, so yeah, I'm glad I live here. But I sometimes feel guilty when I meet people who are vacationing here. Like, oh yeah, I worked all year so I could come up and stay in Bemidji for a week. It's like, really? What are you gonna do? Hope you like fishing. Jessica said, Greek and Latin were taught in schools regularly back then. The type of education that became public is not the same as what the elite class was learning. Yeah, what happened to Latin? And why were those guys learning Latin, but they didn't teach that to the rest of us? As poor old working folks. It's all a mystery. Anyway, I wasn't intending on talking about history reset, but I gotta quit learning stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much a bonehead. You are not. I mean, I'm not like actively trying to educate myself. I think it was YouTube that did it, actually. People want to mock YouTube or the internet for learning stuff. So, oh, where'd you hear that on the internet? It's like, where'd you learn anything? The library? It's like, oh, people are getting misinformation. They're learning dumb stuff because of the internet. It's like, no, we've been learning dumb stuff all along because of the libraries and because of school, and especially public school. It wasn't just lazy, bad education. I think it was deliberately trying to dumb us down and tell a fake story for some bigger agenda that's probably going to be revealed. And you know what it makes me think of, sweetie? What's that? Wabi. Why? Because I want an intro to this song. So, Wabi Maingun is a Native American guitar player based out of Duluth, Minnesota. As a young man, Wabi had very long hair. And then, as these dumb college kids do occasionally, he shaved his head. And that's when I met Wabi. He had a completely shaved head. And somebody said, hey man, I want you to meet my friend Wabi. And I went, Robbie? And he goes, oh no, Wabi. That is his Indian name. He is Wabi Maingun. And I said, oh brother. When I met him, Wabi Maingun. Wabi is your vision. Sometimes I'll say, Miigwech, gana wabi egg. Thank you for watching. Gana wabi egg is to watch. Gana wabi is to see, or to have a vision, kind of. And a Maingun is a wolf. Wabi Maingun. But Wabi Maingun, more importantly than any of that, was a guitar player. Is a guitar player. And so even though he had shaved his head, I befriended this little weirdo. And if you're watching, Wabi, thank you for playing guitar on this song. This is a song I wrote called Emily. And up next, the lovely and talented... You want to get up here, sweetie? Yeah, sure. And after the song, Natasha's going to come up and condone BOOZHOO. She's going to say hello, huh, sweetie? That's right. All right. This is Emily with the great guitarist, Wabi Maingun. Miigwech. BOOZHOO. Thank you for listening. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check, 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 check 1 2, check 1 2. It's just seeing how well the audio.
Let's see, how do you want to do this?
Emily's got one crazy eye. She looks to the west and she looks to the sky. Don't ask how she sees when she looks. She's watching you and me.
Do you want to look at some gibberish?
And Emily knows something about blow. Dizzy white snow finds its way up her nose.
Hey, Grandma. What is it, honey? Have you seen my coat? Did you check the closet? Did I check the closet? Oh no, I was looking in the fridge here. Thanks. What a good tip. Oh, here is this. Never mind.
I can only say that I've seen better days, and this is my mistake, and I'll get only what I take. Well, I've decided to quit the show.
You're quitting the show? Why?
Well, I just figured it's time, sometimes a man's just gotta do what a man's gotta do, right? You understand, don't you?
No.
Well, I'm sorry, Natasha, but I gotta do this.
But I'm gonna miss you.
I know. I'm gonna miss you too. The best I could do with what I had and all I knew, and we will fight all night. I don't see how we got here now, and this is all I have, and now it's all I have to give. But I can only say that I've seen better days. This is my mistake, and I'll get only what I take. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
I don't know, you got anything you want to add to this?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. So, just want to remind everyone, if you want to support this show financially,
Yeah.
you can send us a PayPal. Buy us a cup of makere mash kiki wabu. Buy us
Listener!
a cup of coffee. Or we have a Patreon page where people sign up monthly. And if you sign up on Patreon, we'll send you a book like Snow on Skin. Or just come over to YouTube and subscribe. We got a lot of fun stuff over there too. Alright. I don't know, I guess that's all I had to say.
Okay. Alright. Well, let's just wrap it up then.
Okay.
What does he win?
Guayakwa, dizzy win. Guayakwa, dizzy win. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Laurie says, beautiful song, Michael. Oh, bequetch. On behalf of Michael. I should go back. Bloop. Hello. Hi, sweetie, it's Natasha. What are you doing? I'm standing outside in nature, of course. Would you like me to teleport you home so you can read the comments? Yeah, would you mind? Not at all. Hang on, I'm going to teleport you. I got to scan for your coordinates first. Okay. All right, locking on your coordinates. 1 to teleport. 1 to teleport. Hey, baby, welcome back. Oh, thanks. Maybe tomorrow. What happened to our kiss picture? Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me move that over. Guayakwa dizzy win. Everyone is so untrue. There it is. There they are. Oh, Jim. Kiss. Anyway, what were we talking about? You were going to read some BOOZHOO crew comments. Oh, right. Sorry. Kaya says, Bemidji was good. Pequot Lakes is nice. Yeah, they are. It is. Whatever. It's a town and a bunch of lakes. Was up near International Falls a while and loved it out there. Yeah, I've been to International Falls a few times. That's beautiful up there, too. You know, certain times of year. A lot of mosquitoes, though. And Lori says, beautiful. Michael, Lori said that was a beautiful song. Thank you so much, Lori. We recorded that about 10 years ago. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And if we could figure out Spotify, we would get some of these songs on there. But I tried to sign up for a Spotify account. I don't know if you've had better luck. No, I've had the same problem. And then it won't accept my password. And now I'm all screwed up. I'm like, if I can't even get in to watch and get a Spotify, how are we ever going to share our music? I don't know. I don't like the platform. And I don't use it, so it's kind of weird. But sooner or later, we're going to somehow release our music on a platform where you can listen to it. La 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 da da dum ba ba ba. Kiara Waltz says Spanish missions. Spanish missions. Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. Da 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 da. I still can't decide if what's his name? Barry Manilow? Yeah, is Barry Manilow still alive? I think he is. I don't remember him dying. Sweetie, do you know if Barry Manilow is still alive? I'm going to say he is, but nobody cares. I care! Well, then one person cares. 'Cause you gave and you gave, 'cause you came and you gave without taking, and I sent you away, Barry Manilow. You sang and we cried about our own failed relationships, but you were the soundtrack, oh Barry. You were the only guy other than Barack Obama we knew named Barry. And Barry Gibb, now that I think about it. And we sent you away, Barry Manilow. And Barry Gibb and Barry Obama lived together on an island somewhere in the Bahamas. Barry Manilow lives with Barack Obama in the Bahamas? That's what I heard. I can't remember where I heard it. I might have been singing it when I heard this. But apparently, allegedly, Barry Manilow, Barry Gibb, who's also dead, and Barack Obama, who goes by Barry, all live together. Well, I guess Barack Obama just has a place in the Bahamas, but the ghost, is Barry Gibb dead too? I can't remember. Sweetie, is Barry Gibb dead? Barry Gibb's dead as a doornail. Yeah, so Barry Gibb and the ghost of Barry Manilow and Barack Obama, they all live together on an island in the Bahamas. Nobody knows that. It's a conspiracy theory. Allegedly. I heard that somewhere in a song. La la la. Kaya says, Mr. Manilow is both alive, and dead simultaneously. What? We will only know if Barry Manilow is still alive is if we open the box and preserve him inside. Then the probability waveform collapses. Yeah, who was that creep? Schrodinger or something like that. Some German guy who was picking on cats. Oh, the cat is simultaneously dead and alive in this airtight plastic box we put him in. Not until we open it up, so, it's like, he's not moving around in there. I think he's at the same time dead and dead. Because you gave and you gave. And Jim says, Reverb Nation, download your music. Reverb Nation. Okay, is that a better place? I haven't looked into that. But Jim, you're a straight shooter. If Jim says it's a good place, that's where I'm going to go. Reverb Nation. That's where I'm from. The Reverb Nation. Oh, are you from the Anishinaabe Nation? Oh, you must be so proud. No. My nation? The Reverb Nation. What was that Michael Jackson song? Rhythm Nation? My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. If you get a vaccination, and we'll give you a passport. Don't feel bad, it's fine. Just get a shot and a number and get in line. Amen. Do you remember that when people would sing the national anthem, then they'd say amen at the end? Yeah, this country has really gone downhill. Yeah. I saw a TikTok video the other day, and it was a lady, and she was just proud of herself. She goes, I tell my kids they don't have to say the Pledge of Allegiance, which I'm fine with too, by the way, just for the record. But she goes, I didn't even have an American flag in my class. But what I do have, and then she moves the camera over, and it's the gay pride flag. And she goes, kids, if you want to say the Pledge of Allegiance, we can say it to the gay pride flag. And I'm like, lady, would you cut it out? You're really making it hard not to become a homophobe. Why are you having the children pledge allegiance to a gay flag? But, she's all, look at me. I'm so woke. I'm so progressive. I pledge allegiance to the flag of sodomy and the rainbow for which it stands. 200 genders. Oh, amen to that. Hey, Lou, what's up, my brother? What's up, Lou? Lou Page is here, sweetie. Hey, Lou, what's going on? BOOZHOO. Yeah. I don't know. It's just so weird. I used to be such a radical lefty. I just loved ripping down America. It used to be so cool to look at all these squares waving their flags on the 4th of July. Hey, you losers, get back on your pickup. Oh, look at you. You love America, do you? Go on, get out of here. We don't like your kind. But now, you got, frumpy old middle-aged female middle school teachers are like so radically left. I feel like the old-fashioned church lady going, hey, think about the children. Don't be teaching them about your, alternative lifestyle. They don't need to hear that. Oh, really? Why, you think there's something wrong with sodomy? It's like, I was content to keep my own opinion about that quiet. But now you're creating an army of brainwashed children saying Heil Hitler to RuPaul. Heil RuPaul! Heil Caitlin! Just an army of woke zombies. Schrodinger's Manilow. Yeah, you crack me up. Manilow. 'Cause you gave and you gave. 'Cause you came and you gave without taking. And I sent you away. I love that song because it's about breaking up with somebody and then having second thoughts. Oh, Mandy. You came and you gave without taking. She was just giving. And he sends her away. And I sent you away. Get on. Get out of here. I don't want your stuff for nothing. Oh, Mandy. What's another Barry Manilow song? Oh, there's a Copacabana. Yeah. At the Copacabana. With music in her hair. Down to there. Now it's a disco, but not for Lola. Not for Lola. And she's gone crazy, I guess. Wally Bear says, when puppets kiss, do they build up static charge? Just curious. Well, when you kiss a puppet, cutie. Hey, quit flirting with Wally Bear. What? I don't want you talking about kissing with that guy. I'm not even sure Wally Bear is a guy. It might be a girl. Oh. But yes, we do have static charge. It's electric, huh, sweetie? When we kiss, animals strike curious poses. That's what they say. They feel the heat. The heat between me and you, huh, sweetie? I don't know. Okay. Hey, Daniel Black is back. Push here, Daniel. Just made the end of the podcast. That's right. Well, now that Daniel's here, I guess we better call it a show. Come on, BOOZHOO crew. Let's get out of here. Daniel just ruined the show. Oh, hi, Daniel. Nice of you to finally join us. Sweetie, will you put something on next to Daniel's name? Like not a gold star, not a silver star, not even something worse than a sad face. How about a booger? Yeah. Can you just smear a booger on the little square next to Daniel Black's name? Yep, there it is. Well, Daniel, you just got a booger for your participation today. Hope you're happy. That's going to be weighing on your grade. And we just got called a bastard. Yep, well, I want you to think about this between now and tomorrow. Sweetie, would you like to say anything before I sign out? No, that's pretty good. Michael, did you want to weigh in on the booger issue? No, don't be rubbing boogers on that sign. What? I got to teach Daniel a lesson. Just leave him alone. All right, you guys. Miigwech, Bizadawieg. Thank you so much for listening. And Miigwech, Ganawabieg. Thank you for watching. Whoops, not that. That was the other video, sorry. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. The podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha, over here, the star of the show. Come on. NANABOOZHOO. Hey, Miigwech Ganawabieg. Thank you for watching. And over here, the rock star cartoonist, Michael Lyons. Ikadon BOOZHOO or Ikadon Miigwech. Michael? Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Giga Wabamin Minowa. I will
I'll see you again. Sweetie, could you do me a solid and teleport me?
You got it.
Want to teleport away.
All right, locking in. 1 to teleport.